these truths. There is a truth awakening that's happening all over the country, and Middle America is the heart of that.
Yeah, and so when we talk about truths and we talk about lies, I'm going to talk about this lie. Now, this is a lie that has been perpetuated since the 1960s, the second wave feminism. Sydney's bowl is right there.
I will move it.
Thank you. Now, we covered yesterday the London Tube. They call it the Tube. The subway's called the Tube. Okay? That is getting rid of, yes, you hear me right, the greeting, hello, ladies and gentlemen, because of one transgender dude who felt like it wasn't inclusive enough, so now they have to say hello, everyone.
Which is ridiculous.
Okay? This is the definition of insanity, trophy, things like that. So, this woman, this woman has, she didn't make this up. I just want you to know. I have read several excerpts, not the full feminist books from the 60s, where all men are rapists. And then because of their anatomy, they are born rapists. And so she has called her sons prospective rapists, and her sons are teenagers, and they didn't take too kindly to this. So they have been frequenting YouTube, conservative YouTubes, where they bash feminists on there so they can feel more, they can feel better about themselves than her sons.
Wow.
She's turning her sons into conservatives because she calls them prospective rapists, boys. Now, the fact that she's already sexualizing and criminalizing her teenage sons should be concern to everyone, and she should actually have her children taken away, and they should be given to, you know, some nice Trump family. Seriously, okay? We gotta call these things. It is time to take off the gloves, y'all, and call abuse abuse. Because we Christians and the right-wing people and the conservative people have been sitting on the sidelines watching this madness happen for way too long. Now, you don't have to be mean about it. Don't be hateful about it. But laugh at them. Okay? And some people say, it's not nice to laugh. You know what? It's a lot nicer to laugh at idiots than it is to make fun of them and be mean to them and punch them in the face. So you're going to get farther, unwinding their brain by laughing at them. Seriously, and I'm not talking about making fun of them, laughing at them like a bully, but seriously.
I want to take a chance before I get too far ahead on the comments, because that's what I really like about at least the Friday night live show.
Yeah.
That we can go to the comments. Cheryl says, I am a progressive and I listen to all sides.
Good for you.
Thank you very much.
You are awesome. We listen to all kinds. We read all the news, Cheryl. We do. We read, and you got to take, I take from like some more, there's not a lot of good progressive sites, or I would frequent them more.
Yes.
When it comes to things like wars on Syria, wars in Iraq, there's a lot of like things where we talk about non-GMOs and things like that. There's not particular sites, like whole sites like Breitbart, so you have to go to dedicated sites that just talk about vaccines,
right,
or just talk about GMOs or something like that.
Exactly. So, Just Ain't That Way, who won the Revelation DVD and mail this week,
Scotland,
Wichita seems like a nice town. Well, Kansas is from, our friend Kansas that you often see with us, is from Wichita.
Well,
we have been there.
Eldorado.
It's right outside of Wichita. We have been there. It does seem like a nice town, but they have some weirdos as well. Let's see.
Hot there.
Why Dallas? Where Millie is doing the flyover. That's where InfoWars is based, not Dallas, but like in
Austin. They're based in Austin, so I think they're starting
Texas,
in Dallas, and then they're gonna.
Is it true? This is from Jack Russell. Is it true that the Native Americans are suffering because of Trump, and also the wolves because of hunting in the national parks, etc.? My cousin keeps talking about it and blames Trump. The reason I wanted to get to that question is because we were at a funeral today, which we're going to get to in a little bit, and the people behind us were having this long, drawn-out conversation before it started about the wolves in Yellowstone and how they have reintegrated them back into Yellowstone National Park.
Everything has fixed itself.
So says the documentaries and people that are studying it ecologically.
They said the beavers
have come back.
So they're changing the waterways and the dams are fixed.
Exactly.
I mean, the deer are back, the bear are back.
The deer are moving from different areas because the wolves are in it. And the whole entire park apparently is...
It's fixed itself because the wolves are back.
As far as the Native Americans suffering, that is inexhaustible subject, and that's not anything that you can blame on Trump. It's a completely bipartisan issue. You have representatives from all sides that are pro helping out the Native Americans, and you have representatives on all sides that are like, you know what, y'all people just need to get over it. And so we can't go into that in this little segment that we have here. Possibly we will get into it. We do need to.
That, definitely.
But no, I don't think that I don't think that they're suffering specifically because of anything that Donald Trump is doing. If anybody has any links on that, you can send them to me, and we might do another segment on that. So get back to the lady.
So this feminist writer, she's no different than a lot of feminist writers, especially from the 60s. Jody Allard has a habit of shaming her two sons, one of whom she says is suicidal, for simply disagreeing with her, or worse, for simply being male. Last week, writing in Role Reboot, the mother of two yet again relentlessly shamed her sons for their biology, and then topped herself by explaining that they are, like every other man, not safe because they are male. And by not safe, she means prospective rapists. Allard first asserts that while her sons are good boys, they aren't safe, before bragging about a semi-viral essay she wrote in this Washington Post in which she shames her sons for their role in feminist constructed rape culture for merely having male anatomy.
Wow.
She's so proud of herself because it went semi-viral, and like the kids' teachers saw it, their friends saw it, and then they're upset because you know, their mom basically called them rapists, and everyone else read it. Unsurprisingly, her teenage boys, whom she publicly shamed for no other reason than her anatomy, resent her, and like I told you before, her sons are even turning to conservatism. One of my sons was hurt by my words, although he's never told me so. He doesn't understand why I lumped him and his brother together in my essay. He sees himself as the good one, the one who is sensitive and thoughtful and who listens instead of reacts. He doesn't understand that even quiet misogyny is misogyny, and that not all sexists sound like Twitter trolls. He is angry at me now, although he won't admit that either. So he's being nice to his mom, right? He's being kind, he's being sensitive, right?
This poor young man.
And his anger has led him to conservative websites and YouTube channels. Hey, buddy, you want to come watch us? Places where he can surround himself with righteous indignation against feminists and tell himself it's ungrateful women like me who are the problem. Is it my job as his mother to ensure he feels safe emotionally no matter what violence he spews? Is it my job as his mother to steer and educate no matter how much that education challenges his view of himself? When I hear his voice become defensive, I back off, but question whether I'm doing him any favors by allowing his perception of himself to go unchallenged. When I confront him with his own sexism, I question whether I'm pushing too hard and leaving him without an emotional safe space in his home. Wow. The essay then has a momentary epiphany right before her own bigotry concerning men gets the best of her. As a single mother, I sometimes wonder whether the real problem is that my sons have no role models for the type of men I hope they become. Yes, the boys need male role models in their lives, hopefully males who will also shield them from your incessant shaming for their immutable qualities. But Allard quickly kills the idea due to her belief that all men are evil. You know, that thing we're told feminists never believe. But when I look around at the men I know, I'm not sure a male partner would fill that hole. Where are these men who are enlightened but not arrogant? Who are feminists without self-congratulation? If my son need role models, they may have to become their own. If the feminist men, the men who proudly declare their progressive politics and their fight for quality, aren't safe, then what man is? So she's saying that progressive men aren't even safe, right? No man, I fear, she asserts. Her reasoning is even more bigoted, believe it or not. Basically, since all white people are born with the inherent sin of being white and thusly racist beyond their control, even if subliminally, then why can't all men be inherently misogynistic too? But if it's impossible for a white person to grow up without adopting racist ideas simply because of the environment in which they live, how can I expect men not to subconsciously absorb at least some degree of sexism? White people aren't safe, and men aren't safe, no matter how much I'd like to assure myself that these things aren't true. And then she goes on to say, it pains me that I don't feel emotionally safe with men and perhaps never have with a man, but it needs to be said because far too often we are afraid to say it. This is not a reflection of something broken or damaged in me. It is a reflection of the systems we build our boys to absorb. Those little boys grow into men who know the value of women, the value that's been ascribed to us by a broken system, and it seeps out to them in a million tiny toxic ways. More disturbingly, Allard has previously spoken about one of her sons being suicidal. In a post as recent as May, the Feminist wrote in Role Reboot about her suicidal son watching 13 Reasons Why, and it's a really bad show, so please don't watch it. A show that has been argued to glorify suicide. So, there we have it. Michelle, would you like to chime in?
Actually, so listen, I'm glad that you covered this article. I don't want to give this lady any more time than she is due, but what I am reminded of is, once again, Leah and I had a very dear friend of ours pass away today, or not, she didn't pass away today, we went to the funeral today, and she has 2 sons. Her one son has 2 little girls, and the other son has 2 little boys. Both of these, I'll call them young men, they're our age. Both of these young men are raising up their children in a manner that would make anybody proud. I want to focus specifically on our friend Justin, who has 2 little girls. Justin, he was actually on Greta Van Susteren at one point. He's been on different programs because he was targeted. He was one of the Tea Party names that was targeted by the IRS. And he is, from what I understand, I would say, anti-feminist. However, he is raising up these little girls in the most gentle,
well,
manly
why don't you tell them
manner.
what he did for them to remember their
Their
grandma
passed away 2 days ago. On Sunday, before she passed, they knew that she was going. She had a horrible cancer. They threw a big party, and in time for the party, what Justin did was he had a star named after their grandma.
You can do this.
So, it's in the Big Dipper so they can find
Little
it.
Dipper.
Now, the Little Dipper? I thought it was the Big Dipper. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's one of the dippers. So, the 2 little girls have been having trouble sleeping the past couple of nights since their grandma passed away. So, what does he do? He takes them outside and they find the grandma, they call her Bubby, the grandma Bubby star, and they talk to her, okay? This is a man raising up his daughters in a gentle manner that caters to what they're going through as little girls, okay? So this lady, she says, where are they? Lady, you just don't know them, okay? Because I've got dozens of them in my life.
Who you are.
Yeah.
That you repel good, kind, nice men.
They're out there in mass.
I can name no less than 50 right now that I know that are good fathers, that love their wives, that love their children, that don't cheat on their wives, that don't look at pornography.
Thank you.
That love their kids. We know these people. They are in our lives. They are our friends. If you aren't surrounding yourself with people like that, maybe it's because you aren't that type of person, because people are attracted to people like themselves.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, it looks like the there's our friend Erin, and she has another godly, good husband that's raising beautiful little girls as well. So if we broke up there, the punchline was our friend Justin had a star named after grandma, and he takes the little girls out there to talk to her now that she is passed away and they have trouble sleeping. So here's the thing. This lady just has no clue. She is clueless. But this is the same thing that we're seeing widespread by people that are just consuming the mainstream media narrative, and she thinks that she's being some sort of frontierswoman out there blazing the trail when she's just following like a little sheep.
My mom always says it's kind of in the what you confess with your mouth is what comes to be. It's very important for you not to confess negativity around, to not get angry. If you want, and this, it might sound a little bit, you know, like a positive thinking type guy, you know, but what you want to happen, you need to let come out of your mouth. I mean, it's nice, it's okay to voice frustrations, but if you want positive things, this is a real true study. They have taken plants.
Yes.
And they have yelled at the plants and cursed at the plants with swear words, right?
Yep.
But they've done the same kind of watering and things like that. And then they have said wonderful, kind words to plants. I love you. You're great. You're beautiful.
You lovely little plant.
These are scientific studies that there are negative vibes in your words that can kill a plant. How much more can they kill a child and kill a person?
Right.
And if you say positive things and encouragement to people, you're going to bring out the best in people. Right. So my mom would always, even when we would make mistakes, even when we would get angry, she would always say, God has a wonderful plan for your life.
She did.
You are smart. You are intelligent. You're the best. And not like trophy mom type, being like everybody gets a trophy.
This is exactly how it would go down. I would go in and just be throwing a temper tantrum, or even in my teenage years, getting angry or whatever. And this is our mom never yelled. She probably yelled this many times in my entire life. She would just say, Michelle, God has a wonderful plan for your life. Okay, she didn't do it in some sort of sassy, Michelle, God has a wonderful plan for your life. She meant it. Like, there was this diffusing, and of course it did always just kind of like, ugh, can you address my frustrations, please, instead of that? But she was so right. What you speak over people really does have an effect on who they are and who they become.
Better than that, And so you need to, so this mom, if she doesn't want her sons to grow up to be bad people, you guys are great, you're powerful, you're loving, you're kind, and you encourage them when you see good things. Wow, you're going to be such a great dad one day.
You're going to treat every woman in your life just amazing.
Wow,
and you
son,
encourage
you're so
it and you
kind.
hone it.
You're so sensitive. Thank you for that.
We have another family, and since we're going live because of the hour in the Homestead Network, which we forgot to plug at the beginning of the show, we don't get paid for it. It's nothing. It's just volunteer. We're in the Homestead Network. That's www.homesteadnetwork.com. We are the 6 o'clock slot on Friday evenings, but on that, we're always plugging one of our favorite channels, Go and Batty. Kevin and Heather are some of the most phenomenal parents, not only do they have a great homestead, that you will ever meet in your life. The evidence is in their children. They have come over several times to help us butcher chickens, process butchering pigs, and things like that. And they are constantly always encouraging each other. They have, the oldest is their sister. And these 3 little boys are always encouraging her and lifting her up. And they understand that even though they're younger than her, they try to take care of her. And it is absolutely adorable. Go and Batty channel is doing it right.
Their kids are phenomenal. I mean, I don't want to play favorites or anything, but when they tease each other, it's positive. Yeah. It's not even mean. And then you hear them say things like, you're really good at that. Yeah. You're really good at that.
Or they'll tell, their sibling may not even be anywhere in earshot, and they will be talking them up to us. My sister, she sews these aprons, which she does, and they're so great, and it's talking
it makes you want to cry. Yeah. You want to pinch their cheeks so hard. You're so cute.
I was cold all alone, no place for home, every day so afraid, but you called my name.